tackled the other sense of smell, which was fascinating for me. And again, smell is an undervalued quality of design. And so I'll leave you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi guys, this is Karen and I'm Jaewon. She is multicultural and multidisciplinary sensory designer and a computational designer and a technician. So our project name is IDENTICENTORY, which is combination of identity, sense, and story, the three keywords of the project. So in this era, people have diverse background and experience various cultural environments across the world. Each individual has unique memories and stories from the experiences which make a form of our uniqueness. This inspired us to make people explore and share their own narratives. So we have investigated how sensory experiences work in triggering everyday self-reflection memories and how to visualize episodic information or verbal expressions to be shared through multisensory experience and kinetic motion. The concept is making a platform for sharing narratives through olfactory trigger. We wanted people intuitively access to the narrative through intertwined kinetic experiences such as olfaction, tactility, and visualization. We believe the installation can be a bridge connecting people's narratives and facilitating the exchange of personal stories. Slow Medium Manifesto is a key approach of this project, which is asking people to pay more attention to each step in certain process. We designed to make people fully immerse themselves in the process of recalling unconscious memories and witnessing the translation of narratives. So scent is a main sense of our multisensory experiences that can trigger even forgotten memory and saturate person in nostalgic feeling. To translate personal narratives into sensory experiences, we followed intersemantic translation method, which is translating verbal expressions into non-verbal forms through olfaction, tactile experience, movements, and visual elements.
From the intersemantic translation and then the expression from the concept of olfactory senses, we develop like a step-by-step like a sensory experiences that we want to offer to our participants. So starting with like the smelling the scent, and then the audiences can trigger those like unconscious memory from their childhood, and then they start to talk about like their stories behind what they've been through, and then those stories is going to be reflected back into categories on our note paper. Those papers becomes like the information input for our kinetic machine, that it's going to go through this kinetic motion that triggered the pipette from the inputs that people put in, and then created this visual output. So for the olfactory stimuli, which is like the initial phase for our project, we have been experiment with like olfactory prompts. So we found this, there is a group of researchers who's experiencing with scent memories research. And then there are like 5 scents. Apparently it's like the scents that can trigger the most nostalgic memories for people across like multiple cultures. So for those who have experience, you might figure out a few scents when you smell it. But we intended, when we designed our installation, we intended to not that our participant know what the scent is. We don't want to give like extra information like colors or like name of the scent, so they don't have like the first impression. Their first impression is going to solely from what they smell from our installation. And we have we did a series of experiments with like participants with like smelling some scent, and we categorized their feedback according into 10 categories that people have like memories with. So we use these categories to put be our like criteria for categorizing people's narrative on for our input of the machine. And we decided to translate the olfactory narrative into a visual output. So the visual output is going to be dripped, like it's a scented color oil, it's going to be dripped on the water. So through this method, the olfactory experiences will last longer on the paper, where our participant can take home with as the new like memories that they experiences from our installation. So now is the connected part. So our connected design is inspired by the music box mechanism. So we found that music box, like the analog one, has the power of like people can just punch the notes by themselves, creating their own musicality. And we feel like this resonate with our approach of like each individual has their own like characteristic, their experiences. So we want our participant to have their own note paper, which is like a scented version for our machine. And we started with like one channel design, and in this process, we try to test it with like the materials and the ratio of the gears in the kinetic, because we found like in an analog machine, the material or like just like 1 millimeters of difference in one components will either like not functional at all or like it totally work. So we feel like we experienced about a lot of like mechanical like components in this phase. And then after the one channel machine work, we try to develop like a 5-channel version, which is the one we exhibited here. So in the 5-channel version, it looks completely different from the 1-channel version because it needs a stability to the machine, because we are increasing the channel, and then there are more components, gears, and crank involved. And because of that, we have to change our component structure into a modular design. So we kind of develop this modular design and change the position of the gears and crank so that it can stack next to each other, and try to make it as compact as possible so that the input of the paper can go through smoothly to our machine. And this is like the one module of our design currently, so that you can see the position of the gears and the crank are connected inside of this shell, which like the shell is kind of serve as a protection so that it doesn't affect, like the channel doesn't affect each other, and then it can be stacked and layered next to each other. So we have our this installation has its first like public exposure in London Festival of Architecture back in June. And in this exhibition, we had a lot of feedback from our participants saying that they didn't imagine like the power of smell can actually bring them back like really old time in their life. And then a lot of people who actually come to our exhibition and then they don't know each other, but when they started to smell it, they start to have like this conversation about, oh, this reminded me of like a place I went when I was young, and then maybe the other person was like, there are similar experiences with them, and then we feel like this is a great opportunity to that people to also like naturally form like connection and conversation with each other through like senses. We also exhibited a 3-channel version of our machine in Linz, Austria this September. And it's kind of show how this like modular of this kinetic machine, there is possibility in like it can go down in smaller sizes, or like maybe it can also expand into a more channel to create this maybe more complex palette of olfactory senses. And we're going to show like a 1 minute like a demonstration of our machine working. Yeah, so that's all. Welcome if there's any question for you guys. Yeah, thank you.
One is so the actual punching what creates the unique sense, right?
So the actual punch in a hole, it creates the difference between each participant, and then that hole is going to trigger, yes, so it will trigger the gears and all the connecting motion that's going to drip this like the palettes of mixture of scents. Yep.
What are the 5 different?
Yeah, so the 5 scents are the peanut butter and eucalyptus, lavender, baby powder, and cinnamon. So we found this research showing that these 5 scents can trigger like most nostalgic memories from people. And like we know that this research is based on like a targeted group of people, which is more the targeted are more Western audiences. But surprisingly, we have a lot of like Eastern culture people who smell it and then told us like they actually have a lot of this also from their childhood. So it kind of also shows that like even though we are all from different cultural backgrounds, there are some connection like back home that's like being connected through the senses of smell.
Yes, another inspiring, to repeat myself before, I think the sense of smell is so crucial, and designers could pick up that more, and perhaps as a career being a consultant to product designers and people like that, as well as where you're coming from in terms of sculptural art perspective. Thank you very much.